Hello guys, Teddy here. Do you remember this phone? I believe that if you're the younger generation, probably all you know is Apple that is running iPhones and Samsung like a company. That's fine. But before these popular brands that exist right now, there was a brand called Microsoft that was also making smartphones. Microsoft still exists, and I believe that if you don't have a MacBook, probably your operating system is Windows, just like mine. That's okay, but they used to make smartphones as well. So what happened actually? How they started making them? And why did they flop? Literally nobody's talking about this anymore because it's irrelevant. You can find these phones probably if not from a reseller store or a second hand because these phones are not in production anymore. So the question is, what went wrong? We're gonna dive in and see what happened from the beginning till the end. Let's go down there and start with the history. So, Microsoft decided around 2003 they can bring their success into something smaller and more compact. Windows was a great operating system at the time, many people were using it, and they were thinking, if this is so successful, maybe we can bring the same experience to users, but it's something more portable, smaller, and easy to carry on, just like a smartphone. Notice that smartphones back then weren't as popular as now, they didn't have that many features, but they were still like futuristic for their time. So around the time, this picture is an idea of what they wanted to have. So basically, as you can see, it has a screen, keyboard, and a stylus. This was never a released phone unit. They were like, okay, you have a keyboard just like the computer. The stylus is your mouse. So basically, you can just carry this everywhere you go. But then around 2007, Steve Jobs appeared and he said, yeah, I hate these styluses. You keep losing them around. You have to keep them to make sure they're always intact. It's just so much trouble. So basically, he invented the iPhone, which you don't need the stylus, you just need your fingers to navigate. And this is the official first phone that Microsoft launched. As you can see, it literally looks like you're having a computer in your hands, judging by the logos, like how the icons look and everything. So they mimicked what they have on a computer into a portable device. And still the screen was mostly like half chopped and then you just have buttons, which for the time it was what people were used to. But let's just say not having a stylus like completely free just with your fingers wasn't something people were used to at this time. Smartphones kept evolving, so Microsoft had to do something. Here's some pictures. This is what some of the Microsoft phones used to look like. Some of them have antennas, others look still chunky, bulky, until we hit around 2010, and this phone was here. This is Windows Phone 7. It was sleek, it was modern on the time, everything what people could look for. Even critics liked it. But what is the catch in all this? The catch is the apps. So by the time 2010, Google Play Store, App Store, they were heating up, they were filling with apps. You can get fitness, cooking, reading, mobile games were also starting to hit off. And what this phone, Microsoft Phone 7, didn't have was apps. It was technically the lack of apps. What's the point of buying a new phone if you can barely download any apps because they don't have it in the store? So this is where Microsoft had to play catch up and basically bring more of the already popular apps to their store as well, so that way users can use it and they can still stay in the business with the smartphones. They even consider maybe we could go into third-party ecosystem or just hire more developers to bring these apps into our market. The apps problem aside, there was something called the Nokia ban. So Microsoft decided to partner with Nokia, which was the biggest phone provider at the time, and Nokia also agreed to use Microsoft Phone as their official provider. That led to the birth of the Nokia Lumia series. Here is a picture. Probably you've seen this phone. Now as I'm looking at it, it kind of looks like a phone with the case on, like really chunky, really funny. But at the time, it was something revolutionary because Nokia was one of the biggest companies. I remember when my parents were going to the store to pay their bills before they started doing this online. Like literally most of the phones on the display were Nokia. No matter if it would be buttons, no matter if it's without button, it was just Nokia. It was everywhere. And wherever I go, there's people just holding Nokias and talking. That's before the iPhones and Samsung and other popular brands just took off. But they decided, okay, if we partner with one of the biggest providers, maybe we can save our company. And everything looked fine. Nokia's hardware, Microsoft software, perfect notch, people liking the phones, but there was something still missing, and yet the apps are appearing. At the time, App Store and Google Play Store were filled with thousands of apps, while Microsoft still has a few apps, and most of them were outdated versions which people didn't want to use. And even though if you make a new phone, if you don't keep updated apps and revolutionary apps, like nobody's gonna purchase this phone anyway. So technically, even if they partner with the biggest phone provider at the time, Nokia, nothing actually changed, and Microsoft was still falling down and failing to reach its biggest competitors. Even if Microsoft partnered with Nokia, it didn't bring any meaningful share. In 2014, under Satya Nadella's new leadership, Microsoft bought Nokia's phone business for $7.2 billion. That was bold and risky move. At the time, Microsoft launched their Windows Mobile 10 with the promise to have universal apps. Basically, these are apps that you run on a PC, on a tablet, and on a phone at the same time. Developers weren't convinced that this is actually a possibility. Also, around that time, there were huge apps like YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat that were groundbreaking. Basically, this was one of the most used apps at the time. Now we take them parts of our daily lives, and people wanted phones that can support these apps. So here's when the problems came for Microsoft. Most of the phones either didn't have these apps, like you see they're very popular and customers use them all the time. Why won't you make a phone that has these apps? Or they were very poorly supported, which is also something that customers noticed, and this is why they started walking off Microsoft and going buying phones by other brands that can support these apps. Also, another reason is that Microsoft started laying off thousands of employees. Around 2015, 2016, they called the Nokia bet, the Nokia deal. That was a big $7.2 billion loss. So, what happened with Microsoft? Were they too late to the party? I would say yes. By the time that the Microsoft phones matured, phones with operating systems like iOS and Android already have built massive ecosystems. Another problem they had is the lack of apps. Around the time, Apple Store and Google Play Store had thousands of apps that were helping people every day, no matter was it social media, fitness, anything. While Microsoft was still lacking of some apps, or they were very poorly supported. Another thing, they had very poor support when it comes to their operating system as well, apps, and pretty much the phone itself. One of the biggest losses was the Nokia bet. They lost 7.2 billion. They tried, they invested, but absolutely nothing happened. Nothing came out of it. People weren't having the idea. Like, let's just say that Microsoft was always one step behind of the competitors, because whatever someone's doing, like they're doing it way late when already it's not trending, people are not using it. And also the fact that you're not gonna support one of the most trending apps at the time and you want to survive the market. I don't see it happening nowadays. Let's not talk about 10 years ago or maybe even more, when apps were just starting to break charts for one of the most used apps. So basically Microsoft might have been a good with operating system when it comes to PCs and laptops. When it comes to phones, they were one big failure. So what happened with Microsoft? After the failure, they decided to pivot. They embraced Android, launched the Surface Duo, and started bringing their apps like Microsoft Office, Teams, and Outlook to operating systems like Android and iOS. Now, their major play when it comes to mobile services, not hardware. So, what exactly is the legacy? They show their potential, their ideas, but somehow they never brought it to life. Maybe when it comes to timing and apps, this was the crucial thing that kind of died down. And let's just say that it did not work out for them. Yes, basically they tried to be like the other companies. But one of the major things, as I said, that people use phones for now is apps. So if you don't bring the major and the most used apps at the time people use them to your smartphones, don't expect people to buy it, because now, yeah, we're looking at your phones. Oh, how good is the camera? But also, why do you need the camera? So you can take pictures, videos, and probably you're gonna post them somewhere. You're either a creator, you're a photographer, but you need this camera app to work so you can post it on social media. Basically, this is what people are doing nowadays, but they have potential, which never took off. Okay guys, that'll be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Comment down below if you ever had a Microsoft phone. What was your experience with it? Did you like it? Was there something missing or something that you wish you had but it never had? Like any software updates that you received, were the apps decent or not? Because apparently this was the mass complaining of customers, the lack of apps that Microsoft phone has. I've never had one, either in stores. I haven't seen that much. Like, as I said, Nokia was huge at the time. Also, iPhones later started trending. Microsoft was kind of there, but kind of started going back, so people weren't reaching out to it that much. We already know why. But that will be the video. Hope you enjoyed. Please smash that like button if you like this video, share it with friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell to be notified whenever I post the videos, and I'm gonna see you next time. Bye!